Hi everyone, my name is Simran Bhaskar and I'm the founder of Project Blue Ribbon. So we are back with another episode of Talk with Survivors series, and today on the special occasion of International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, we have some great survivors here. So starting with Ms Hoda Ali ma'am, a FGM survivor, a nurse as well as a human rights activist. We then have Ms Rewati Ranjan, a child abuse survivor, social activist and an entrepreneur. And again, we have Ms. Pooja Vyas, child abuse survivor and currently working with Usha International Limited, and her role is of audit and commercial.
Hello everyone, I am Vrinda Singh, co-founder of Project Blue Ribbon. So as Simran said, the main aim of Project Blue Ribbon is to raise awareness, to make people aware about the different types of abuses, how to prevent these abuses from happening, and most importantly, how to help a victim overcome that trauma. So today we have with us 3 survivors of child abuse who would share their stories and experiences with us. So let's start with a brief introduction, starting with Mrs. Hoda Ali ma'am. Ma'am, would you please like to give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm really appreciate and very proud of you all for making sure that we use our voice to speak up. So thank you for having me. Yes, I'm Hoda Ali and I'm a survivor of FGM, but my title is not the survivor. My title is I'm a nurse, I'm a human rights activist, and right now I'm a teacher that's teaching about safeguarding my body, my rules, and how children to keep themselves safe before even abuse occurs. So I'm a teacher now, and that's where I was running away from today. And on top of that, that's my day job, but I am the founder of the Ventures charity, which we only actually registered this year as a charity. And in Ventures, we are a collection of people from all around the world. You know, some of us are survivors, some of us are not survivors, and we use art to talk about FGM and actually violence against women and girls. So that is me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and a very warm welcome to you. Moving on to Ms. Rewati Ranjan. Ma'am, would you please like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. First of all, hello everyone, and thank you Project Ribbon for having us here. And as Huda ma'am rightly said, we are not survivors. We are women with integrity who are sitting here and talking about things which have happened with us. We are not just survivors. I'm a social activist, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a 22-year-old, so I'm a student as well who is pursuing MBA and PGDM. I have a startup called Digital Services. I'm a professional digital marketer. In the society as a whole, I work for women empowerment, I work for mental health, I also work for gender equality, and I work for eradication of child abuse. That's me overall. I have a very varied background when I talk to about professional life, but here I just want to focus on the social activism part of it, because I really think that every professional should have a person in themselves who works for the society. So that is me. That is Rewati Ranjan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving on to Ms. Pooja Vyas. Ma'am, would you please like to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for having us here. It's really great that you guys are doing this. Hi, this is Pooja Vyas. I'm from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, and I'm a Gujarati. So yes, I did my schooling here. I did my college in Christ University, Bangalore, and currently I'm working in Usha International, and I am a child abuse survivor. Yes, I mean, I'm just 21 years old. I'm looking forward to work something like Ms. Rewati Ranjan and Mrs. Hoda Ali. I mean, I hope I get an opportunity to do something for the society as well. So yes, that's just all about me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and a very warm welcome to you.
So I would like to know you about your experience of child abuse and what inspired you to talk about it on a public platform. Starting with the Ms. Hoda Ali ma'am.
Okay. So I'm a survivor of FGM. I came from Somalia. I came from everybody loves their culture and everybody loves their country. And I grow up that way. I grow up where we went to school every day, and every Friday, because we came from Muslim country, we go to the swimming on the sea. My dad will take us out. Beautiful life that we had. But what happens is that FGM is practiced in Somalia, at least in 98%. I know the numbers are coming down, but that is the data that we have now. That means that majority of girls go through FGM before they are the age of 8. And that's what happened. So I went through FGM at the age of 7 with my little sister. And yeah, and we went through the cut. We had type 3 FGM. It didn't affect us straight away when the actual procedure happened. But for me, it affected me a couple of years after, when I was, I was 11 years old. I was about to have my period and I got sick. And after many operations, I mean, I talked this a lot as well, and I don't want to waste a lot of time today about my what I went through with FGM. But one thing I wanted to actually say is that when FGM happens, we didn't think it was child abuse. My mother was cut. My grandmother was cut. My great-grandmother was cut. All the women before me was cut. So for us, it wasn't a child abuse. For us, it was something that we were getting ready for. So when I'll give you an example. I will go to this school and my friends say, "Oh, Hoda, you're 6, you just come into 7. Why haven't you had FGM yet?" And then I'll run home when I finish the school and I'm like, when is it my turn? When am I going to have? So it was more open in Somalia in my time. It was something we knew was going to happen, but we thought it was normal. So looking back now, I actually thought every single girl around the world go through this procedure. It's just part of growing up, right? Yeah. So for me, it was later on in life. It affected me because I always had gynecology problems. I had a gynecology since I was 11 years old because my period was accumulating inside. It had nowhere to come out. The civil war started in my country. So there was a lot of things that was happening. And I got lucky. I was one of the girls. And that's why I always say that I am the luckiest girl alive, because all of the girls that was my neighbors and that I went to school are still in Somalia. They never left, right? So I came to Europe now, and thank God I had I went to a doctor's in Italy. I mean, the hospitals that I've been operated in Somalia was run by Italian. So they invited me to come to Italy. I had operation. And the first time I had my period, I was 17 years old. So from the age of 11 to 17, I was in hospital. I was that girl. I never had what it was like to have a girlfriend and to go to the cinema, to go and see, when you wanna, hormones are kicking in, to go and see and talk to the boys. I was never that. I was that girl that was always in and out of hospital. However, it's actually when I came to the UK that I really realized that not every single woman around the world goes through FGM. And FGM is harmful and FGM is a child abuse. So that is for me when the dots were connected, right? So yeah, and here today, and one of the reasons that I will always keep talking about violence against women and girls, because as long as we are alive and we are breathing, we should be fighting for those who don't have a voice. But I am just grateful. I find my voice. I studied to become a nurse, and I worked as a sexual health and HIV nurse for a very long time, where it gave me actually a lot of what is the word I'm looking for in English? A lot of where I was able to meet patients, women who have survived FGM. I was able to talk to them. I was able to say to them, don't worry, I'm a survivor too, but we're going to refer you to the right doctors. We're going to refer you to see the right people. And I got a lot of joy for me. It was never about me and what happened to me, but I find my voice. So I now have to become the voice for those who do not have a voice. And so, yeah, it is a child abuse. FGM is a child abuse, but growing up, we never thought it was a child abuse. And certainly my mother did not did it to abuse us. It was something society expected, the whole country, the community expected. So if my mom did not cut us, we would not be part of society. We wouldn't have to go to school and have friends. People would say, oh, that girl is dirty. Don't go to them, don't see them. So it was the pressure from society that still make the woman before me, even though they knew the effects of it, to still carry on and do it.
Ma'am, you're such an inspiration to us. So moving on to Ms Rewati Ranjan, could you kindly share your story?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, Huda ma'am, you are such a brave woman, and I applaud you for that. Um, moving to my story, I was 14 years old when I faced sexual molestation. So before that, I was generally a child who was very enthusiastic. I was a child who used to jump around here and there, did not have any, care in the world kind of child. And then, we were on a family trip, and I was, I was with my entire family. And girls tend to feel safe with their families, right? But none of my family members harmed me. But while I was on the trip, we were in a caves, and two men who were constantly looking at me were started following me. And I was very sure that when you're with your family, nothing happens, and that is why I ignored it. But later what happened, that they found me secluded for just like a second or so, and they attacked me. They took me to a corner, they groped me. While they took me to the corner, they banged my head on the rocks. So because these were mountains, and the caves had proper solid rocks, they banged my head on the rocks, and after that my body couldn't respond. I wanted to shout, I wanted to scream, I wanted to do something to stop it. And I realized that I was lying partially naked in a public place. Like, I could see that, 5 to 6 feet away, people are walking from there, but no one looked to the corner about what's happening. Okay. And I was being molested there. That was the first time when I realized that my sexual organs can be invaded by some other stranger. As a 14-year-old, I didn't even know what sexual pleasure was. I didn't know, that my sex organs can be treated as someone else, like just like a toy. These people literally played around with my body so horribly that the worst part was I couldn't react. I couldn't do anything about it because of the numbness in my body. I don't even recall till now that how long did this happen with me. But after a certain while, my right hand luckily started responding. And that is when I tried hitting them or pushing them away. I scratched them with my right hand. And because I scratched them with my nails, I had scratched them pretty bad. And my hand was entirely in blood. Till this day, I still have nightmares where I see my right hand in blood and I freak out. I hallucinate. I don't see things. So after this accident, my family started looking for me when they realized that I wasn't there. And finally, the moment they realized that people are looking for me, they ran away. I wanted to catch them because I didn't know that I was sexually molested, but I did know that whatever happened was something wrong and I was not comfortable with whatever happened. I could feel the pain in my sexual organs, but again, I couldn't do anything because my body was numb. They ran away there. My mom came to me and she asked me about what happened. And, by that time I had like literally, sorted my clothes and everything. And I just said that, Mom, nothing happened. There was just two guys who teased me. First, there were, many reasons why I didn't do it. First, I didn't really know what happened to me. Second, I was scared to tell anyone, as of be it my mother, father, anyone. I was scared to tell anyone about what happened. Because as a 14-year-old child, you don't really know how to react when someone touches your sexual organs. And we left from there. And since that day, I suddenly turned into a child who had been carrying a fake mask of happiness. Because I realized that my mom and dad, they couldn't look at me when I was crying, and they used to leave everything and try to make me happy. And so I started faking my happiness. This continued for 7 years. There was always a constant urge where I, wanted to kill myself, to be very honest, because all I could feel was pain. There have been repetitive incidents in my life where I faced sexual molestation, and this one was the major of it. When February 2020, I decided that no, I cannot live with this any longer. I quit my job. I decided that, okay, whatever happens, I'm leaving this and I'm taking care of myself. I was in Bangalore then. I left my job. I quit. I came back home. I was at the peak. I was hallucinating. I was having panic attacks. I used to wake up in the nights and scream and shout. My father and mother literally had to hold me and remind me that, okay, this is your real world and people are there around you, because I had totally lost myself. I lost my emotions. I still have struggle feeling happiness. I don't feel happiness. I just feel pain and fear in me. That's the two emotions I acknowledge, nothing else. So when this happened, as a child, I realized that when something happens to you when you are a child, this leaves a permanent scar on you. And for you to open up about it, it's not very easy. And talking about something like sex is itself stereotype in India. So talking about sexual molestation or sexual abuse as a child is something which takes a lot of courage to open about. And I always thought that the moment when I speak about it, things are going to turn and I will become another victim who has been, through sexual molestation, and people are going to disregard my entire identity. And that is something which is sad, but at the same time true, that whenever, people see someone they identify them by that incident rather than the person who they are themselves. Their tags, their labels by the name Bichari. You're no longer an entrepreneur, you're no longer a social activist, you are just a person who went through sexual molestation and nothing else, and that is very wrong. And I decided that this stereotype needs to be broken, and that's when I sought for therapy. I helped myself. Today I'm in a much better place, and when I fought this, I decided that this has to end. And I decided that if anything in the society needs to change, the first change comes from you. You cannot tell the society that you need to change until and unless you have the courage to change yourself. So I changed myself. I spoke about my fear. I accepted whatever happened with me. And today I'm here talking about it. And I intend to talk about it until and unless, the societal stigma breaks, and, women, men, anyone who has gone through child abuse, sexual abuse, any kind of abuse is able to talk about it and feel comfortable and heal from it. So that's how I came to a public platform and started talking about it. That's my story.
Well said, Revati. We are so happy to have you here. Moving on,
Thank you.
moving on to Pooja. Could you share?
Yes. I'm just really moved by these stories because it's 2020 and women still have to go through all of this. I really hope it all changes. And anyway, so coming to my story, I was also a victim of child abuse. I mean, I also had my okay. So when I was in fifth standard, I think I was 10 years old, and my own brother, he sexually molested me, and I didn't know what was happening because I was a kid. And it went on for quite some time, I think around 8 months. And after which, I came to know about periods and good touch, bad touch from one of my aunt. And, I realized, okay, whatever is happening is wrong. And if things go further, I might be pregnant and all of that, it went up to that extent. So, and then I just asked him to stop and not do it. I didn't have the courage to talk to my parents because my dad was alcoholic and my parents used to fight almost every day. So I didn't want to add up to, the fight and all that. So I never told them about that. So this thing, I mean, I didn't know it was that wrong until I became of, until I became big is when I realized, okay, whatever happened was, it hurt me in some way. Obviously, I mean, it had an effect on my mental health, and I've got molested thrice, and that was all by my family members. So one was in my own family. So I mean, whatever Revati said is very true. Like people feel that you're safe in your family, in your in your home, in the four walls. That's not true at all. When people tell me you're a girl, don't roam out after 9. That's not true. You can be safe outside as well, and you cannot be safe inside your house. And this was not well spoken of. And I have this best friend who is with me from first standard, and I never told her about it because I thought people will judge me. So, in college, when I was going through a lot of other issues, is when I was very open about it. I spoke to one of my friends at that time, and my friends were very, very supportive. That's when I was very vocal about it, and I came to know it's very common. It's very common than you think. I thought I was the only one who's gone through this, this sexual molestation in family, but then it's very common. Like, it's very common. So I decided to write to Humans of Bombay when I joined my office, and they told me, I spoke to one of my colleagues, and they told me even she's gone through the same thing. So that's when I decided, I think I should talk about it. This is the topic where people don't talk about, and people, shame you for it. So I thought, why not? So I just wrote a mail to them. So yeah, this is my story. And in fact, so when the third time I got molested was by my and he's my grandfather. He's my cousin grandfather. He was very old, and my parents didn't expect that at all. That was my breakthrough. Like, my parents were out for a medical checkup of my brother. I mean, so, and then we were alone at my place, and then he tried to touch me inappropriately, and that's when, and he tried to bribe me with the money as well. And I told my parents at that time, and my dad was furious. He wanted to file a police complaint also. But because it's molestation and you have no proof, you can't do anything about it. And then we decided not to do that. But yes, so he left this city. I mean, I stay in Coimbatore, so he left the city and he went. So yes, so this is my story.
Thank you, Pooja. People like you, Pooja, Rewati, Hoda ma'am, you are such inspiration to us young generation especially. We are so lucky to have you all here today.
Okay, so as we know,
Can I just quickly say that I realized all of you are younger than me. Like, I'm literally old enough to be your mom. So I'm 42 years old. And for you guys to be in your early 20s and doing what you were doing, I really, really applaud you. I'm really so proud of you that you find your voice, because our voice is the best weapon that we can use. So I want you to all know, each and one of you, all 4 of you, I'm very, very proud of you and what you were doing.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so
thank you so much,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so as we know that any such kind of abuse leaves a lifelong scar on the victim, which affects them at various stages of their lives in the future as well. So would you like to share with us how such a horrific incident affected you and what you did to overcome it? Starting with Mrs. Hoda Ali, ma'am.
So female genital mutilation denied me my rights. We have children's rights, right? There are 54 articles that almost every single country in the world, I said almost, signed, because there are 2 countries who haven't signed it. And my rights were taken away as a child. At 7 years old, my rights were taken away from me. At 7 years old, I was made to become really strong for my little sister, because when we were having the FGM procedure, the younger ones go first. And I remember when the cater came to the house, she just looked at me in the eye and she's like, make sure you're strong for your sister. Make sure you don't make her scared. So that means you're not going to cry. You're not going to be screaming. Make sure you just, right? And I become like that. I wasn't in the room when my sister was cutting, but I was outside. I made sure I didn't cry. I made sure I didn't make her scared. So for me, I was made to think like a woman at the age of 7. Then my body was violated. Oh, okay. I just saw something came out to say the meeting is about to finish, or it's been long, so I just pressed okay. So my body was violated. Like, here I am. Like, today I came in teaching. I was teaching all day today from year 3 to 6 children who are from the age of 11 to the age of, the age of 7 to the age of 11. And we were talking, my body belongs to me. It's about knowing that no one else can ever do anything to your body if you don't want to do. So no one ever cannot make you do something you don't want to do. So yeah, so for me, that is what happened. So it affected me. However, it affected me more as an adult because I got married. And I met my husband now when I was 23. I met him in London. I couldn't speak proper English. I just came to the country. I become a refugee as well. So when I came out the hospital in Italy, we become refugees. We have nowhere to go back to. So my Somalian passport was not working. I was with my dad. So we have to find a way. So I ended up being in a refugee camp. So I was in a refugee camp. I came out the hospital in Italy. I went into a refugee camp, and now I'm refugee. And anyway, find myself in the UK. My sister was here living in Sheffield. I came here just 2 months before my 21st birthday. And then because I came out the hospital when I was 17, so I was okay. I had no problem from the 17 just before I turned 21. Then all the problems started again, where I'm bleeding too much and stuff. So to make it sure, the way it's affected me is that I was when I got married, we couldn't get pregnant 3 years later. So I went back to the gynae and I was like, why? I want to have a child. I'm married. I want to have a child. And then the doctor turned around and said, hold on, have IVF. And I remember we had IVF. I went through, I waited for a year. I didn't want it straight away. And everything that I'm telling you guys now, I always take my time. So I would say yes, but I wanted to take my time to think about it, because every time I think about somebody touching my body or a doctor examining me, I just thought I can't do it anymore. Because I been in hospital from the age of 11 to 17. So I didn't want to go back, but I had no choice. So we had the IVF. I had all this cycle. This time I was a nurse. I remember I will run downstairs and check myself in the stomach, run to the bus, because this time I didn't drive either. I didn't have my car. So I would run to the bus, have the injection, run to the bus, and then do the nose spray while I was in the bus. Then I would go to the hospital, put my uniform, and then work for 12 hours a day and take care of my patients and make sure that I was their nurse. I was that person that if they came in and they don't feel certain way or uncomfortable, I was the person to make them comfortable. And then I will rush back home, travel another 2 hours, come home, and then start again, the injection, the nose spray, the whole medication. Anyway, I got pregnant for that cycle. And then I miscarried the day before my first scan, which is 6 weeks scan. And went back to the hospital, and I had pelvic infection that was so bad, I ended up in ITU. So I was sicker than when I was in Somalia, which was, you know, the war was happening. There was bombing and shooting outside, but I was still safe in that hospital. I could still talk. Here, when I was in ITU, I couldn't speak. I had NG tubes on my nose because I was getting so skinny. They were feeding me through my air. I had so much abscess. They were taking the abscess through my stomach, through my nose. I had central line on my neck where they were feeding me. I had a catheter. I had everything. I'm 5'11", which is what, 179. I'm very tall, and I was 45 kilos when I came out of the hospital. And then I said, okay, tomorrow is another day. I survived yesterday, because I always say I'm the luckiest girl alive. I'm here, I am healthy, I can speak, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get strong, and I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna have another IVF. Now this time we had 5 embryos frozen. So I know I didn't have to go through the whole cycle again. That day, we made an appointment. We went in there, and they took me straight to a room, to an office, because I was thinking I'm going to go to the theater. We went to this office, and they were like, Hoda, I'm really sorry. None of the embryos survived. So there was nothing to transfer. Okay, my husband sitting next to me. And then I said, okay, tomorrow is another day. That was my first always word. Tomorrow is another day. I can go and have another IVF cycle. It's fine. Then he said to me, I'm sorry, I'm the embryologist. I'm going to go get you the your doctor. The doctor came in and said, Hoda, I am so sorry. I have been doing this work over 35 years, and I never, ever have to say this to a patient. She said, Hoda, you cannot carry your own child. You cannot have any more IVF. If we touch you, it can kill you. And the reason, and I was like, why? They said to me, okay, so I had 4 operations abdominally, 3 in Somalia, 1 in Italy. Every time I had an operation, I had adhesions, which is the scars from the inside. So if any woman goes to a gynecology now and they're having the ultrasound, you can see the ovaries, you can see where the womb are and how they are. Mine are like this. The next day they go like that because the adhesions, the scars inside are moving all of my organs differently. And yeah, so the age of 31, and to me, that is when I decided that I'm going to do what I'm doing today. The age of 31, I was told I could never be a mom. Never. My option was to have a surrogate mother or adopt. And we're going to adopt because life goes on. There are so many children out there who don't have mom and dad. There are children who need the love that we want to give for me and my husband. So I'm very happy and I'm very lucky to have supportive family, to have my supportive husband who supports me every step on the way since I was 23 years old. We've been together for 20 now, coming up. So that's how it was affected me. And I know I've been talking too much. I can come back later. Yes, so that was for me at the age of 31 to say, you cannot have your own child. And I thought I have a voice and I'm going to use my voice for the rest of my life until I see a world that is free from violence against women and girls. And just to end it, at the age of 37, I become menopausal. So I got the menopause, which to me is actually worse than the problems I had with FGM. Maybe another day we can talk about that, not today, but for me, that was the thing. Menopause affected me so badly that I couldn't even do my work. And then the advice was to have a HRT, which is a human and hormone replacement therapy, and that's what I am on. I am on patches, estrogen, and I take a progesterone tablet. So that's how FGM affected my life.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inspiring us so much today. You are so brave. So moving on to Ms. Rewati Ranjan. Ma'am, would you like to share your views?
Yeah, first of all, I'm so moved. I'm so moved. Mom, you're so courageous. I don't know if I'm yet 22, but when I reach the age of 42, I really want to be one of your kind who have been brave enough and who speak. You inspire me. You literally inspire me. So like after the incident happened with me, I think I told you I lost how I feel. The only thing which I carried with myself was pain and fear. These are the only 2 emotions I acknowledge. And every time, like, this is something which all the survivors have in common. When we see someone in pain, we realize how strong that is because we have seen it. We have seen the demon with our own eyes, and that is why we connect with the pain which other people have. So I was very young when this happened, and after that I didn't really know what happened. I think by the age of 16 or 17, I actually realized that what happened with me was sexual molestation. Till then, I always had nightmares. I used to see men coming and attacking me. I used to, be afraid of darkness. I used to like literally panic whenever I felt alone. I have always been a girl who has this constant urge of being an overachiever. And this might be good professionally, but at the same time, I do know it because I am trying to seek validation. Because I'm not sure about my body, am not confident about my own self. And that is how I know that the Rewati Ranjan, who looks very good professionally, might not be as strong as she looks. When this incident affected me, what happened was that I couldn't feel happiness anymore. I was not excited about anything after that. And then when I went to college, like when I was in my hometown Ranchi, I always thought that all these thoughts and everything, maybe this is because of the place, maybe because I'm holding back to certain things. And when people generally, the first suggestion which they give you is that time heals everything. And maybe for some people it does. For me, it just made things worse and worse every day. I carried the baggage for like seven years. And they're tough years for me because as a child, I cannot say confidently that I slept. I even slept. Sleeping is something very basic for any human being here. And entire childhood, I don't even know if I slept properly. When I was in the college, I was sexually molested again by by a person who eventually told that he looked at me as a sister, and he sexually molested me. He forced himself on me, and that's when all the memories from the childhood, which I had somewhere tried to suppress and keep inside me, they bursted out, and I couldn't handle it anymore. I didn't know what to do. My panic attacks got severe. My hallucinations got severe. When I was alone sitting in my room, I could see men walking towards me. So the men who attacked me were wearing black jackets. And every time I'm alone, I see two men coming in black jackets and trying to touch me. And I used to be that person who is sitting alone in the room and shouting that don't come near me and something. I literally acted like a crazy person. But at the same time, I carried a very happy face in the college because the people who hide a lot of pain generally are afraid of accepting that they are in pain. And this is something which I have noticed with a lot of people. We are very scared of accepting that we are in pain. So we try to show ourselves as people who do not have any pain in the world, and we are so happy individuals. And that is what I did in my college. If you look at my pictures, you'll see me smiling through the pictures and everything. But entire school life, I was this child, this girl who used to wear skirts much below the knee when when all my other classmates looked very pretty in the skirts which were till the knee and with the socks to the low length. I was this girl who wore socks legit, which covered my entire leg, and then the skirt. So basically, none of my skin was visible. I couldn't wear anything where my body was exposed even a bit. Not because I didn't like myself, but because I was just insecure about my body. And that is what happens when you face sexual molestation or sexual abuse of any kind as a child. You lose confidence over your own body. You lose confidence over your thoughts. That is what happens with you. And after my school days got over, I decided that I am not going to stay insecure about my body. And I tried, even makeup for me is a huge deal. Applying a lip balm or a lip color is a huge deal for me, because I feel that what if I'm doing something wrong? What if, this attracts someone? And that should not be any person, be it a guy or a girl thing. They shouldn't be thinking that if I, do something with my body, what if I attract someone? For 7 years, I carried a guilt because I thought that whatever happened with me is something which I deserved. I always thought that the pain which I carry with me is because it was my fault. I still, I'm struggling because right now I don't take the guilt of it because I'm healing. But I always said to myself that, you could have stopped it that day, but you didn't. Maybe you liked the pleasure of being sexually molested, but that was not true. And then I realized that I was being over harsh on myself. You cannot expect a 14-year-old child to shout or react when their entire body is numb, when they're not able to react. That's just, you shouldn't be expecting unrealistic things from a child. And I did that with myself. And I carried the guilt. I hated myself to a core that I was in, I don't know for how long I was in depression, but I was diagnosed with depression, PTSD, panic attacks, hallucinations, and stress when I sought for professional help. When I came home after quitting my job, I told my brother that this is not okay. The moment I used to go to the kitchen to make chapatis, the moment I saw flames, I was like, I wanted to touch the flame just because I wanted to harm myself. I thought I deserve all the pain. Every time I was near the knife where I was cutting the vegetables, I was like, maybe I should try cutting myself. I'll feel better if I do that. Every second of my life, I just, was stopping myself to do something, that I don't do something wrong with myself. And then finally, when I opened up about it with my father, it took a bit of time for my family also to understand about what's happening, because like in Indian families don't really know about mental health. And I shouldn't really be saying Indian families. I think all over the world, there's say you are going through something, people generally are like, you're just overthinking, get over with it, time's gonna heal everything. And statements like these are so common that you literally hear them every day. But my family, when they understood, they were really supportive. I sought for professional help. And oh my God, that was a crazy phase. There was a night, 3 a.m. at night, I lost myself. So I was making a lot of progress in the therapy. I was making progress every day. I was trying to calm myself down and everything. And then I realized that my therapist had some important work, and she asked me if I was okay, and I said that I'm completely fine. And that is when I took a break for a few days. And I was lying, I was not fine. And I don't know why I lie so much. When people ask me how you are, I always say I'm fine, even if I'm not. And that's a pattern which I have developed, which I still need to unlearn. But 3 a.m. at night, I called my brother and I told them that I told him clearly I cannot take it anymore. And I didn't know, before calling my brother, I went to the kitchen. I stood with a knife for nearly 15 minutes and I wanted to cut myself. I wanted to end my life, but I did not. And the saddest part is that I did not stop because I wanted to live a life for myself. I only stopped because I somewhere knew that if I do something to myself, I am going to transfer all the pain which I have to my family. And no one in this world deserves to live with that much of pain. No one. I remember while I was having panic attacks, my father didn't know what exactly he should do. And I was lying in the bed and I was acting like a crazy person. There was a part in me, there were 90 odd things telling me reasons to die. And there were like one reason, which was that you're going to give the pain to your family, don't die. That was just one reason. And I was fighting in my own head, that Rewati, don't do this, Rewati, don't do this. And my father couldn't understand what was happening. And my father was continuously asking me, Beta, tell me what's happening with you. We can help you only when you tell us. And I just said that, I'm going crazy. I don't know what is happening, because I didn't know what was happening. And when I called my brother and we sought for professional help, every day was a challenge. As Hoda ma'am said, every day is like a new hope. We people who have, stopped themselves from suicide or stuff like these, we know that each day is very long and every new day can bring us a new hope. And that's how I am now. Right now, first of all, I think people who have emotions, you are privileged. You are literally privileged. People always take their emotions for granted. And if you talk to a person like me, I want to feel something. I don't. All I have is pain in me. All I have is fear, nothing else. When I there was a moment, since I was a child, I always wanted to have my own business. The day when I started my business and I got my first income, I should have been happy. I should have been in the top of the world. But when I was that day, realized that I was a bit happy. That was the moment when I realized that, okay, I'm a bit happy. And I got a panic attack because I was happy. And I was like, no, you shouldn't be having this. And people take emotions for granted. And here I am sitting, struggling each day just to feel something, just to say that, oh, I felt happy today. Oh, I felt surprised today. And I don't. All I know is fear and pain. And that is something which I still carry. I'm healing every day. I'm making progress every day. I do whatever I can to help any person in any manner. There have been people, there have been children who call me at like 2 o'clock at night and they just tell me that, ma'am, I was not feeling okay. So I called you and I talk to them because I know that at least someone is trying to address their emotions. Maybe that is not the appropriate time to call, but they're trying to address their emotions. And I will never stop a person from addressing their emotions because I know how it feels like to be emotionless. I know how it is to feel like when you don't know yourself. I know how it feels like when you fight every day with your own self. Maybe the society can be an evil, but I think that all the demons which we have, first they are in our head. The day you fight the demons in your head, that is the day when you think about conquering the society or helping it. So I would just say that that's how I fought it. And the only thing which I do is I remind myself that I don't deserve this. I remind myself each and every day that whatever happens, whatever incident happened, whatever pain is there, I don't deserve it. And I believe in myself. I know that maybe this journey is going to be very tough. Maybe there are days where, entire night I'm just lying on the bed doing nothing. And I'm like, okay, maybe I need a break. But I know that whatever happens, I won't give up. I still am I don't know if I'll ever find a reason where I would say that, oh, I'm happy. I'm still waiting for that day. But I do know that helping any person, even if it's this small bit, and I help them fight their demons, I'm happy. So that's my story, and that's how I'm fighting it. I'm still fighting it, and I promise I'll be fighting till my last breath. I'm not giving up so soon. I'm 22 years old now. And Huda ma'am, I really think, I want to be someone like you who can at the age of 40 or 42, I can proudly say that, I fought for myself and I'm fighting for every other person who is facing through similar struggles. You are an inspiration. And this is my story. I fight every day and we are fighters. We are not survivors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. More power to you. I'm sure all our
I
listeners
know
will be
we're gonna
really
quickly
inspired.
move. I know we're gonna quickly move, but I got to say this. I got to say this. Is it Rewata? Is that how I pronounce your name?
Rewati.
Ah?
Rewati.
Oh, because it's V, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes, Rewati.
Right. I want you to remember this. And I want you to know this. You are 22 years old. You might find me in inspiration today. I did not have the voice you got today. At 22 years old, I still didn't have that voice. I still wasn't as strong as you are. I want you to remember this. You are making a difference. The pain you went through, and the pain that you kept it yourself is what makes you the young, beautiful lady that you are today. When you say, when you are wearing your uniform, because people make your body ashamed. You are ashamed of your body because somebody denied you your rights. Somebody violated you and your rights to be a child, to grow up and have decision. What do you want to do with your body? Because like I said, my body, my rules. Somebody break that.
Yes.
And that is why you feel ashamed to be covering up. And no one else knew in the school, but you knew that for yourself.
Yes.
Right? Secondly, when we carry secret like that, you carried this secret for a very long time. Even that day when the abuse happened with those two men and your family found you, by then you were dressed, but you didn't tell them. So as a 14-year-old child, straight away you become an adult there. And you kept that secret. So it's okay. I'm not going to keep it long. I'm going to give you my phone. We're going to have our WhatsApp. And you're going to call me anytime you need to speak to somebody. I'm always here for all of you.
Thank you so much.
I want you
Thank
to
you.
remember, I am very, very proud of you, that you're working on yourself. You know wrong from right, and you realize I have a voice, because there are thousands and thousands of girls just like us who do not have a voice. And when they watch this, they can go and speak to somebody tomorrow. They can walk away from that where they are. So I want you to know, we love you. You are loved. You are beautiful. And it's okay if you don't feel excited sometimes. It's coming. You know why it's coming? Because you already decided what you want for yourself. You already decided you're not going to be a victim. You already, at the age of 22, you already decided my voice is my voice and no one else is going to tell me anything. So I want you to believe in yourself 100%. And I'm so proud of you. And I do wish I was that young, beautiful woman, that 22 with that voice. If I was 22 and I was speaking like that, Lord have a mercy, God will know. But I thank you for that. And I wanted to keep in touch.
Sure, definitely. And I'm so proud that today, I'm not scared of wearing any clothes in which my skin is revealed, or, I would just want to feel beautiful in whatever clothes I wear. And I'm so happy that I'm trying to fight these insecurities and I'm doing it well. And I'm so thankful, Oda ma'am. And we will definitely stay in touch. We'll definitely stay in touch.
We all have our demons. We all have something that is going to talk to us and say, you're not good enough. You know this, because the way we grow up, guess what? We're going to close that door. We're going to look and we're going to say, I hear you, but I'm not hearing you today. Are we going to close that? And if you think that that door is keep opening, you call one of us. You say, you know what? Today, the devil is in here. I need him out of my house. I don't want to near it, because I know you're strong and I know you can do it. So don't let anyone else to make you feel less than who you are and the powerful young woman that you are. So if you ever feel like that, it's okay. Let it. Sometimes we are human beings. We feel down. I wake up some mornings since I becoming a person. I don't want to do anything, but I go and do it. Right? But I call my friends. I have trusted people I love so much to do. So I want you to know that, especially, I can't speak for anybody. I'm going to make sure that we share our WhatsApp today. And please, if you feel anybody to talk to even for 5 minutes, you give me a call or you do a voice note for me. This is how we're going to support. But I want you to know you're stronger than that you think you are. You are more stronger than that you think you are.
Thank you so much. Definitely we'll stay in touch. And I have healed so much. And today, even when I am talking about it, I did not break down. The moment when I opened, I remember my first video was on Be the Young. And if you see my face there, it was swollen like a potato. Like I'm still a potato, but, it was swollen and I was crying. And, it took a lot of courage to come on camera and speak about it. But today I'm that woman who can talk about it, who can help others. Be it insecurities, be it fighting my body shamings, I won't let any other person come near me and tell me who I am or what I should be doing. No. And I think no person can ever tell any person about what they are or who they are. We know who we are and we decide what we do for ourselves, no one else. That's all I believe in.
More power to you, ma'am. I'm sure all our listeners would be really inspired after hearing your journey. Lastly, moving on to Ms Pooja Vyas. Ma'am, please share your views with us.
Yes. I mean, you know my story, and what happened is after that, my brother, he met with an accident. So it was a major accident. He slipped into coma for, I think, 9 months. And it was a big thing for my family because we were financially down. We had issues. My dad was alcoholic. My grandmother had passed away due to cancer. And so when this happened, we spent a lot on him. We spent almost 40-50 lakhs. And for a lower middle class person to spend, it was a big thing. So my dad eventually started drinking more. He started drinking day and night. And so I thought, okay, I want to be there for my family. And so I thought, okay, my brother's met with an accident and he forgot everything. I think he's going to change as a person. He's not going to be the monster he was before. He used to hit me, torture me, and all that. And I used to never like him. So I thought, and I used to see my friends having, good brother sister relationship, going out, having ice cream. I never had that with my brother. In fact, he used to smoke and, come and tell me, do I smell of smoke and, all that. So so it was a very bad relationship. So I thought, okay, I should give it another chance, after his accident. But after his accident, when he came out of coma, like I actually, so when he came out of coma, he didn't know anything. He didn't know ABCD, and he used to love dancing. He didn't know anything. So I helped him to dance. I taught him ABCD, writing on the board. I used to sleep in a very small corner near his room, and in the chatai, in the charpai, in the mat. So I did so much for him, thinking, I think I have the brother that I always wanted. But even after he became a little all right. He was still the same monster he was even after the accident. He used to comment on me in a very bad way. And that was very difficult for me. And that's when I didn't want to stay at my home, and I decided I'll not do my college at my home. Though Christ was an expensive college, I thought, okay, it's okay. Even if I have to take a loan, I will just get out of my house. I didn't want to be in my house because it was very toxic for me. My family used to, all the three of them used to fight. So yes, so that's why I moved out of home. And what happened is eventually my dad started drinking way more. He quit his job. He was depressed because I think Karan was not doing well and all the expenses. And my dad passed away when he was in college. And I had to take up a part-time job. I was trying to quit college, but I through all this journey, I met amazing people. Actually, all my life I've been hearing, don't trust strangers. Don't travel, don't do this. But trust me, I've worked. I've been to like more than I think 3-4 cities. I've been traveling all alone. I've met amazing people who have helped me all through. I think I've met monsters in the house, in the family, and I've met amazing people outside. So yeah, so this is what happened. And I had to take a part-time job. And there were a lot of struggles, in between. I thought this is how life is going to be. I don't know if I can face it, because it was just me, my mom and I all alone. People ask me, okay, college ke baad, you can just get married. You need a guy to take care of you. I really wanted to prove them wrong, because I don't want a guy to take care of me. I think I am more than enough to do that for me and my mom. So yes, in college I got placed in a very good company. I got one of the highest paying placement in my college, and that was a very big thing for me. And after my job, everything was just going fine in my life. And there was this time when I just became sad. I think, not, I don't know if depressed is the right word, but I was just sad for a little while, thinking, I don't deserve that happiness, because I've been sad all through, say, fifth standard to, say, college second year. I'd never had that happiness. So when I actually was happy and contented in my life, I was earning, I was providing for my mom, and everything was all right. I slipped back because I was like, do I really deserve this? What if things go back to the way they were? But yeah, so everything is just going well now. And yes, it was very good.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you, everyone. It was so nice talking to you all.
Thank you so
So
much
with
for you to do this. It's really a great